And joining us today in our Book Talk segment, great to welcome, and has written a very interesting, kind of a moving novel called Wish, and it has to do with baseball, and we're going to find out about it right now. The author, Jake Smith, joins us tonight from up in Traverse City, Michigan, by telephone. And Jake, good to have a chance to chat with you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to have an opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes when we found out about the book. And also want to say the book, proceeds from this book, I want to give you a chance to talk about it as well. It's going to go to the National Marrow Donor Program as well. The story of the book has to deal with that too, right?
That's correct. We have a large mission we're trying to support, my wife and I specifically, and not only the National Marrow Registry, but also children's hospitals starting across Michigan is what we've started with, but hopefully across the country if the book catches fire.
And this book has to do with a boy, I guess he's 9 years old, and him wanting to play baseball, right?
Yeah, the premise of the book is that the boy's father, he gets this unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime experience, really, and that's the opportunity to play in one Major League Baseball game. And this happens, as you said, the boy is dealing with his relapsed leukemia. And so this wish that he makes, it comes about when he's in a children's hospital in Michigan. He gets visited by a professional baseball player. And instead of wishing for a neat experience to hang out with an athlete or maybe a signed bat, he instead makes a selfless wish, and that's that he wants to see his dad play in one Major League game. And so this presents a really sort of painful decision for the father, because in order for him to try to do this, he needs to leave the hospital. He needs to be away from his son during his son's chemotherapy and his treatment, and in what potentially could be the last few weeks of the boy's life.
Yeah, I know the father also feels he's not quite good enough, right? Doesn't feel he has the ability to do this.
That's correct. He was a college standout, and had the scouts pretty interested in him, and then he just he walked away. He met his future wife, and all of a sudden baseball wasn't that important anymore, and so he started a family, and he remained in the game with coaching high school baseball, and there was always that little bit of what if, and to be presented then with this opportunity, I think part of him resisted because he had been away from the game so long. And speaking as someone who I've coached before, and then, boy, when I've stepped back into the batting cage, it's quite a humbling experience when you've been away from it for a while. But his wife is really the motivating factor to get him to embark on this journey, in that, she says, look, I'll take care of everything at the hospital, but this is your son's wish. You have to try to do this. And so he is, he's not just given this opportunity. He does have to earn it with some kind of retraining, I guess, back in the minors to try to get his eye right again. And so it's not guaranteed that he'll actually make it to that game.
But when you decided to write a story like this, I know you did some research, just kind of reading through the notes. You talked to actually some former Major League players, right, putting the story together?
That's correct. First of all, I was able to be a part-time assistant high school coach up here with a former Major League player, Doug Mirabelli, the ex-Boston Red Sox catcher, and got to know Doug really well, and just listening to his stories absorbed a lot. One of my main research just fall back on was Doug Glanville. He was an ex-Major Leaguer, I believe, 15 years, and right now he's a baseball analyst with ESPN. Right. And his memoir, The Game from Where I Stand, was just a wealth of knowledge, just a wealth of information. And then I actually was able, Doug did me the great honor of reading the manuscript ahead of time, and so I said, boy, just pick apart the baseball stuff, okay? I said, I know baseball, but I don't know it from the Major League perspective. And so to get his input and his expertise in looking at it and the behind the scenes, and he thought it was very accurate. And then from the hospital perspective and the athlete perspective, a lot of the story was based on some of the work that Brandon Inge has done. He's a former Tiger, and he and his wife had done a lot of great work at a children's hospital near Detroit. And as I was sort of mulling the story over, the first idea that hit me was just this average guy who gets this great experience. I didn't really know how he got there at first. Well, about that time I was watching the Tigers like we do just about every night around here, and they were doing a story on Brandon's work at the hospital, and he had visited a boy who had asked him to hit a home run for him, and he did that night. And so that's where all the pieces kind of fit together, and I thought, boy, if instead of the boy making a wish for something like that, what if he made the wish that put his father in that position? And once I decided that, it really wasn't about baseball anymore. It became about family. It became about an opportunity to explore the stress and the pressure and the hardship that a family undergoes in dealing with a bout of childhood cancer. And then I thought, if this catches on, we could help support children's hospitals.
Yeah, one thing about a story like this, I think baseball lends itself to kind of tying it in with whatever story you want to tell, because it's that type of sport, fathers, sons. You know, you go back to the Field of Dreams movie and those type of things. Baseball just fits that because it's such a part of, hopefully, most fathers and sons' lives, right?
You got it. And baseball has always been an important part of my family. And for me, it really, whenever I think of baseball, I do think of family. And so it was kind of a no-brainer to set this story kind of in the world of baseball. And I do make a lot of Field of Dreams references through the book. That's probably my all-time favorite baseball movie. And because it's not really about baseball. It's like you said, it's about fathers and sons. And it's kind of the same with Wish. It's not really about baseball. It's about family, and it's about hope and faith and just perseverance too.
And again, we want to mention this novel. You want to get the word out to the National Marrow Donor Program, right? The registry, is that correct?
That's correct. I'm sure we've all heard of BeTheMatch.org. That's the National Marrow Donor Registry, and leukemia and the other blood cancers they can be fought so effectively with bone marrow transplants, and it's very easy to get on the registry. It's just a cheek swab now, like a long Q-tip, and you just swab the inside of your cheek, and you can join the registry, a few forms, and the donation process it's a very safe and fairly painless process, and I mean it could save a life of somewhere anywhere around the world, really. And so at BeTheMatch.org you can find out lots of information on how to join. It's pretty much just a 3-step process. You can even order the kit, and they'll mail it right to you. I'm sure we've all heard of Robin Roberts, her story from Good Morning America, and her journey with her diagnosis, and she has really, really just driven a lot of people to the registry, and we're hoping that Wish can accomplish the same thing.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously still a very serious disease, but what it used to be pretty much a death sentence, people are able to overcome it now, which is good news, right? And
especially in children, I believe the survival rate is up over 80 or 85% now with bone marrow transplants for leukemia. Yeah. And so it's such an effective form of treatment that really everyone who has the opportunity to donate should.
The name of the book is called Wish. It's a novel. It deals with not only a father and a son, baseball in there, but also a family and dealing with illness and hope and all that. And Jake Smith's been our guest. Jake, give out a website. They can get a hold of the book, get a hold of you if they like.
I do. It's a pretty simple website. It's jakesmithbooks.com. And I've got links to all the online retailers, and it should be in stores everywhere. And there's also links to my various social media presence as well.
Jake, pleasure to talk to you. Please keep in touch with us, and next time you have another project come out, we'd love to have you back on and talk again. Thanks for being